Okay, well, I'm Zach Burns. This is my dad, Brian. A few years ago, I started Manifested Speed here out of his garage here at his home. Since then, I've moved some things to my personal garage at my house. We kind of bounce back and forth depending on what the project is, and work on things as we can when we can. Some things are customer bikes and race cars that I've done in the past. A lot of it is our personal projects, such as the land speed Datsun behind me here. We've got a land speed record holding Volkswagen Carmen Ghia also that we've both done, roll cage and all the safety equipment required to run at Bonneville. Did a rigid bike with a Buell motor in it back about 3 years ago, and first time out, literally the day after I finished it, was shot with a Cycle Source magazine at the Big Mountain Run. That was my second bike that I built at the time. Currently I've got 3 other bikes in the works, but just based on time and family and everything else, working full time with another job, those bikes kind of are slow going. But do a lot of work. We do it all by hand. We don't have any kind of major fabrication machines, no CNCs, no water jet table or anything like that. Majority of the things get cut out by hand with a cut-off wheel or a pair of 10 snips. I do have some equipment, shear, sheet metal brake, press, some things like that, but 90% of what we do is done literally by hand. Me and Dad have been doing this for 26 years, if you want to count it like that. Since I was born, he's been drag racing. When I was 8 years old, I started drag racing in a car that him and one of his friends built from the ground up out of a pile of tube. Was competitive with that car, raced all over the southeast in it, Indianapolis for the Junior Dragster World Finals when I was 12 years old.
12 or 13, yeah.
Him and a friend, along with my help when I was 12, 13, 14-year-old, we built our super stock drag race car that when I turned 16 actually started racing. We raced NHRA super stock with that for 6 or 8 years, basically every weekend that we could that there was a national event or a divisional race in the area. Since then we got into the land speed racing where, like I said, we've built everything we could, everything that we possibly have an ability to do. We do it from paint and body work to the fabrication to assembling the engines, tuning everything. It's basically just a two-man team that you see sitting here.
And like he said, we do it all ourselves basically because we can't afford to outsource much of it. So Zach has learned how to weld and do some machinist work by going to vocational school and having a expert race car fabricator teach him some TIG welding tips, and he's just practiced on his own, and over the past 8 to 10 years has become an excellent fabricator and welder. I have ultimate confidence in his welding and fabricating ability, or I wouldn't allow him or my daughter to go 150 miles an hour at Bonneville in a Carmen Ghia and hopefully 250 in this car you see behind us. Everything is race oriented that we build. The motorcycles are lightweight, no nonsense, plenty of power, the right gearing, plenty of brakes to stop you, sensible bikes that you can ride, that anybody can ride, and reliable. They can ride them a long distance. It's no glamour showpiece by no means. We're not into that. We like rough, raw, tough stuff. We work on our own stuff. We keep it on the road. Like he said, we've got a background in drag racing. I started in 1982 and learned on my own to assemble the motors, tear them down, re-ring them, fix things that were broke, and basically that's what we still do. And we feel like we can compete in a biker build-off like this, given the resources to build what Zach wants to build, and come up with something different, come up with something that'll catch the viewer's eye, that'll be different, be cool, be sensible.
We've stuck with not a traditional, not a a certain style of bike or a certain brand of bike, we bounce back and forth. We've got Hondas and Harleys, we've had Yamahas. It just, we just build what we think looks good at the time, and 90% of the time everybody else likes it. There's been a really strong showing on the bike that I built that was in Cycle Source that, people were surprised that a mid-20s kid from the hills of East Tennessee built something like that and did as well, first time out getting a magazine spread. The help of my wife, who's behind the camera right now, she's really gave me the go-ahead to do this and pushed me along, even though we've got a child on the way and another one that's, running the house crazy right now. So, this is a really good opportunity for me and Dad and our families to, grow as a business and hopefully get into this and do it full time at one point. Like I said, he works, a full-time job for a railroad company. I work for a government entity doing research work right now, so there's a lot of driving. We spend many hours on the road each week getting to our jobs and back home, and we still find time to work on these projects and get things done and, do a good job. And we've got quite a bit of respect in the community around us. There's not a lot of bike builders in the area, but there's a lot of people that are into bikes, and they really respect what we've done with the little that we have. Coming from a racing background and not a motorcycle background, we've really impressed a lot of people in the area, even some bigger name shops that I've become friends with because of the work that I've done. They really kind of open their doors and tend to help us if we do need help with something, or if we got a question. They don't care to drop what they're doing and make sure that we know all that they know and can further our abilities, which I really appreciate. And I think something like this would really get the Manifest of Speed name out there more than it already is, and hopefully get some more work coming in here other than handlebars and a roll cage and a race car here now. So this would be a great opportunity. We really hope to show everybody that we can stand up to the other bike builders in the area that do it full time. They do it as a living, whereas we do it as a hobby. We do it because we love doing things like this.
Absolutely. And like Zach said, we both work full-time jobs. We both are very blessed that we work 4 days a week, 10 hours a day. So we have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to spend in the shop, in the garage, and Thursday afternoons when we get home. If we got something that needs to be done, we usually get started on it. And we can sometimes probably put 30 to 40 hours or more in on a project on a weekend. And it being at our homes doesn't cause any family conflicts. We're right there if we need to be to do something family oriented, and we've got the support of our family. And Zach mentioned his wife Megan, who's doing the filming, and Zach's mom and my wife Vicki has always been great about supporting us and letting us do this.
Yeah.
In other words, she lets us blow the money on it.
Yeah. And like I said, our shops, my house where I live and his are about 3 miles apart. So it's just because we've got our equipment in different areas, it's not a big ordeal to, if I need to go do something at my house, be in a piece of sheet metal, do something like that, we can run to my house and be back here, 15 minutes and no big deal. It's really, just the same as what I have to deal with at my employer. Get something done, you got to walk down the hallway or go to the other end of the facility, and it's just one of those things we've learned to deal with, and it's helped us grow. We've been more efficient at doing what we do because we know, we don't have it all right here. We don't have a huge $1 million facility. We're working in a 26 by 28 garage here, and about the same size as my house. So we've been really good. We might have a lot of stuff, stacked around, but it's what we got, and we work with it, and we're glad that we got it. Could be a lot worse. The bike that I built that was in the magazine actually painted in the driveway underneath the Easy Up tent in the middle of summer, early one morning, and it was a good enough paint job that it was in a magazine. So it's we've painted cars, bikes, everything in this garage right here.
Yeah.
So
all the race cars we've ever had. We've painted them, I've painted them, or he's helped me, or you know, together. We do it all our own.
Good
Is that
deal.
all you got to say?
Yeah.
It's windy. I didn't think you was going to blow that much when we first started.